Welcome back. The IFP says government has not gained control over its immigration crisis. Yesterday, it launched the party's Employment Services Amendment Bill in Soweto. It was first, of course, launched in KwaZulu-Natal. IFP President Velenkosi Hlabisa joining us right now via Zoom. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Hlabisa. Remind us how the bill is what you call the solution to the unemployment crisis in South Africa.
Good afternoon, as well as the viewers of SABC Channel 404. The IFP on Sunday launched the private members bill in Soweto, as we did in KwaZulu-Natal on the 1st of May. The reason why the IFP has resorted on this approach, the unemployment rate is at an unacceptable level in South Africa, which accounts to about 10 million unemployed, especially young people. This private members bill concentrate on two issues at most. First one is to regulate the employment of foreign nationals at low-skilled jobs and semi-skilled jobs. And secondly, it wants to force the employers that whenever an employer wants to employ a foreign national, the employer must declare that there was no South African who had a skill to do that job. We know in our restaurants in South Africa, in the construction sites in South Africa, the truck drivers, Uber drivers, and a variety of jobs that do not require an advanced skill. We find the foreign nationals, which are the jobs that should be given to the people of South Africa.
Yeah.
There is no country in the world.
All parties are talking suddenly about the very same thing. The ANC has spoken about quotas. The Patriotic Alliance, Action SA used this as an election issue. Of course, the DA, the EFF, everybody's speaking about the same thing. Is this not populism, jumping on the bandwagon, as it were, with all the parties climbing in?
It is not at all on the side of the IFP. We started in 2019 because in South Africa, there is no piece of law that regulates the employment of foreign nationals in any employment sector in our country. So we took a reasonable step not to resort to violence which promotes xenophobia, but we decided to go on a road of a legal procedure to assist our government to have a way of dealing with a problem that is a common issue and a common concern for the people of South Africa. We are not populist. This has been done since 2019, and you can even go back to 2003, 2004. The IFP former president, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, proposed the immigration bill. If he was listened to, we will not be in a problem where we are, where we have a country with porous borders, with no control, people coming in and out, with no control by the government.
What about the concerns of those who look back at the idea that South Africa belongs to all who reside in it? To those who are concerned that checking on illegal immigrants, this obsession with documentation is becoming like the people who checked on the passbook. What about the notion that Africans should treat each other as brothers and sisters? You're saying people can come in if they're skilled, but not if they're vulnerable, and maybe they were very vulnerable and very desperate in their country situation.
In nowhere in Africa, you can go to Botswana, go to Angola, go to any country in Africa. You will not have an African country with porous borders like South Africa. If you arrive in another African state like Botswana, you are told on arrival that these jobs are reserved for the people of Botswana. You can do this one, but you cannot do this one. And, you know, there is no country which can be responsible for citizens which it doesn't know. The government in South Africa does not know how many foreign nationals do we have in this country. In Gauteng, for instance, all clinics and hospitals at a certain stage ran short of medication. And the reason is that the government budgets for people of Gauteng whom they know as South Africans, but it cannot be able to budget for foreign nationals who are using similar clinics and hospitals as people of South Africa, yet they are not accounted for.
So yes, sir, but with all due respect, this is a different issue. Talking about limiting foreigners in certain sectors of the economy is a legal issue. Now you're talking about illegal foreigners. We know that is a problem. You mentioned the porous borders. Are you holding government to account? When did you or another politician go and check on a border post and see what's actually happening?
On the issue of the porous borders, we're still gonna hold the government responsible. As I said, if they listen to the immigration bill 2003-2004, we will not be where we are. That we're still gonna tackle it, but an urgent matter in semi-skilled and unskilled jobs in South Africa. People of South Africa cannot access the majority of those jobs because they are being occupied by foreign nationals. And there is no law in South Africa that regulates the employment of foreign nationals. That is why we are coming up with this private members bill. We want these jobs to be available for the people of South Africa. Our government should make South Africans come as priority number one on the issue of employment as we speak. There is no legal piece that regulates the employment of foreign nationals.
Mr. Hlabisa, a quick final one, and thank you for grappling with this with me. Is there research showing that limiting sectors when it comes to immigration will help employment in South Africa? Because from the research I've heard, immigrants are often entrepreneurial, they can actually boost employment, and the concern here is that there's been mismanagement in the economy, and now suddenly immigrants are becoming the scapegoats. Is this a real economic solution, and can you prove it?
It will not need a rocket scientist to see that if in our restaurants, hotels, construction industry, truck drivers, Uber drivers, and a lot of unskilled and semi-skilled jobs, if those jobs are occupied by foreign nationals, definitely it impacts on the high unemployment in South Africa, because people of South Africa cannot access those job opportunities. This bill, therefore, wants to address that, because even if you can ask our government, which is in a position to know how many people who are in South Africa legally, who are foreigners, they will hardly give you an answer. And if you say how many are they in South Africa who are not legally in this country as foreign nationals, they won't give an answer because they do not know them. That is why we are saying, in terms of regulating the foreign nationals, there is no piece of law. This is an attempt which our government should have long done, and if they cannot do it, we cannot fold our arms, because if you talk to the people of South Africa, they tell you that our jobs have been taken by foreign nationals.
All right.
This is not being xenophobic, but we are not apologetic that South Africans should come first.
All right, there are also questions around why so many South Africans are unskilled. That also points to our education system. But thank you for your view. That was IFP President Velenkosi Hlabisa.